Live from the Channel 4 studios in Dallas and Fort Worth, this is News 4 Texas at 6.
You see it's right here. It's Dennis Brown coming in. You see the knee right there.
Yeah, whether he'll be back or not, I don't know.
It was about 4 this morning before I actually figured out what was going on, so it was a little rough.
It was a rough night for Troy Aikman, hospitalized with a concussion from yesterday's game. But at this hour, the team has made a smooth landing in Atlanta.
Other than a stiff neck and fatigue, Troy says he's doing just fine. The Cowboys departed a secure area of DFW Airport at 3 o'clock. And although many of the players are tired and sore from yesterday's big win over San Francisco, all say they're more than ready for a rematch with the Buffalo Bills. Clarice and Dale are also ready in Atlanta, anchoring our team coverage of Super Bowl 28 from Cowboys headquarters at the Holiday Inn Crowne Plaza.
And John and Julia, to borrow a phrase from Elvis, the Cowboys are in the building. We have been looking at them. They've just been coming through the double doors here. Lots of excited fans have been waiting their arrival. People trying to get autographs, but they are moving them by in a very steady stream.
We're going to try and give you a shot of it here in just a second. The bus pulled up a couple of minutes ago. You're seeing the front revolving doors there here at the Holiday Inn Crowne Plaza. This is a very nice Holiday Inn in the north part of Dallas. The Cowboys are actually supposed to arrive here just about north part of Atlanta. The Cowboys were supposed to arrive about an hour ago, but their bus pulled up just a couple of minutes ago, and waiting to see some of them come through the front door. Well, the site for the Super Bowl 28 is going to be the Georgia Dome near downtown Atlanta. It is a brand new shiny structure on the horizon of Atlanta, and it is the place to be for Super Bowl 28.
The Cowboys will be playing in Atlanta's tremendous Georgia Dome.
Crews are working 50 feet above the ground to hang a king-size banner which advertises, of course, the big events.
And they'll be working around the clock and into the week to get the dome ready for the big matchup on Sunday. The structure for Super Bowl 28 will hold 72,500 fabulous fans.
Cowboys taking on the Bills in a back-to-back Super Bowl. Randy Sprague joins us with more of our coverage. Randy?
You mentioned 72,000 fans. Let's not forget the ticket prices. Face value, $175 a ticket. And that is a steep price for one little ticket, but this is a big game, so I guess it's not a little ticket. Of course, here at the hotel, I guess we can feel the Cowboys coming in because the buzz from the crowd, you can feel them coming in. Now here's Troy Aikman arriving here at the hotel, and I guess he's here, folks, and he looks to be in pretty good shape. Of course, you can see the crowd of cameras and media members and the rest of the Cowboys filing in. There's Emmitt Smith, and not only are media members following him, but fans here in the hotel trying to get a good glimpse of their stars, their heroes from Dallas. So Cowboys have arrived, and we're excited about that. And right now, let's take you inside one of the ballrooms here at the hotel. Jimmy Johnson is getting set to hold a news conference, his first news conference of Super Bowl week. Our Jerry Orr is in there. And Jerry, what do you think? You think he's going to make another bold prediction and predict a win over the Bills?
We are waiting with bated breath to see if he does make that prediction, or maybe he'll even turn the reins over to his owner, Jerry Jones, and coach Super Bowl 28. We don't know, and we want to hear from Troy Aikman to see if he knows that Super Bowl 28 will not be in Henrietta. So we'll be back as soon as we hear from Jimmy Johnson.
All right, very good, Jerry Orr, and we're getting set for that news conference, and we will be hearing from some of the Cowboy players who, of course, will also be addressing the media in about 10 or 15 minutes.
It's getting started.
Yep, it sure is.
And we just saw Troy Aikman walk through, and he does look good, and we heard at 5 o'clock that he is feeling a lot better after having the injury on Sunday.
Everyone wanted to hear that.
Yeah, but absolutely.
We've got much more coming up. John and Julia, back to you.
All right, Clarice, Dale will be talking to you shortly. While the Cowboys are planning for a victory on Sunday, plans for a victory parade in Dallas are still very much up in the air.
In fact, News 4 Texas has learned there is a growing chance that the city-sponsored parade won't take place at all. Reporter Brett Shipp joins us now live from Dallas City Hall with more on that story. Disappointing, Brett.
Hi, John and Julia. I came to City Hall today looking for a copy of that parade plan to be voted on by City Council members on Wednesday. Not only did I find that there are no finalized plans for the parade, victory parade, there may not even be a parade. Last year's Cowboy Victory Parade was nothing short of a disaster. Poor planning plus poor execution equaled chaos. It was so bad the city organized a parade task force to recommend changes for the next time the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. And with yesterday's NFC Championship victory over the 49ers, that Super Bowl victory could be this Sunday. A parade is tentatively planned for Tuesday, February 8th, again in downtown Dallas at noon. despite the task force recommendation against having it on a weekday. City Council members will vote on a proposal on Wednesday, and from what we can tell, the votes are not there.
I don't know enough about it at this point.
Councilmember Larry Duncan says he's an undecided vote. Councilmember Domingo Garcia is a definite no.
I think that when you have a parade and you have several 100,000 people, there's just too much potential in today's environment for violence. And it's not the average fan who goes to the game. It's unfortunately a lot of our young people who are carrying guns.
Others feel the cost and recommended time is wrong.
And I don't think it's a wise use of our time or dollars to have a parade during the week.
Councilmember Glenn Bach supports a weekday parade, saying there is never a perfect time.
If you have it on a weekend, you stand a chance of having most of the team not there. If you have it during a weekday, you run the risk of incurring the wrath of the Dallas Independent School District.
At last count, we found 9 city council members opposed to the weekday parade plan. More meetings here at City Hall tomorrow. John and Julia.
All right, thank you, Brett Shipp, live for us from Dallas City Hall.
Let's go back now to Atlanta, and Jerry Orr is standing by with the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones. Jerry?
Okay, John, the Cowboys have just arrived. How was it?
Well, we had a great flight, and it seems like we just touched up from Dallas and just landed. You know, right as we landed, I remember last year when we were landing in Los Angeles, and we said, the next time we take off, let's have a Super Bowl trophy aboard. I hope the next time we take off from Atlanta, we've got a Super Bowl trophy.
Have you had any sleep since last night?
None at all, and of course we're just living on the excitement of having the opportunity to be back, and our fans getting an opportunity to have a team that's going to play and hopefully win the Super Bowl again.
Now, Jimmy said he wouldn't make any predictions this week, but is there any chance that he might let you coach this game?
Well, I don't know about that, and because you know I've been coaching. That's the misnomer around here. No, seriously, probably Jimmy dodged the bullet and made it big time on that, and inspired our crowd. By the way, that crowd at Texas Stadium, our commissioner commented today on the phone about how impressed he was with that crowd. It really impacted that game.
And that was June Jones that got the head coaching job at Atlanta today, not Jean Jones, your wife.
Well, Jean's not into coaching either, other than me, and she's been doing a good job of that, I think, for 32 years.
Okay, John and Julia, we'll see you later.
All right, Jerry and Jerry, thank you very much.
Well, millions of fans are going to watch the Super Bowl on television, but a lucky 72,500 will have stadium seats for Sunday's game.
There is not a cheap seat in the house either. Barbara White joins us from one ticket seller in Dallas with more on that story. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, John. As you've probably heard by now, the face value of most Super Bowl seats is $175. However, if you go through a broker, you can expect to pay a lot more. A quick survey shows that ticket prices there will start at about $700 a piece. Phones started ringing at ticket brokers early this morning as fans nailed down their Super Bowl seats. Most of the seats available are coming from season ticket holders who are giving up their seats for profit. In many cases, ticket dealers are buying letters mailed to the winners of a Cowboys season ticket holders Super Bowl lottery. Now, they'll pay more than $600 for that letter, go buy the tickets, and then turn around and sell the tickets to anxious fans. And John and Julia, we understand that the most active days, if you want to buy a ticket from a broker, will be Friday and Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday and Friday, actually.
Yeah, right. And, of course, at the door to the Georgia Dome on Sunday.
You bet.
All right, Barbara White, thanks very much.
Still to come on News 4 Texas, convicted murderer skinhead Christopher Broski is back in court.
Still no motive for the brutal murders of an elderly Dallas couple. We'll have that story when News 4 Texas at 6 continues.
You are watching News 4 Texas at 6 with Julia Jackson, John Criswell, Richard Ray, Mike Berger's weather, and Randy Sparagi on sports.
The Cowboys are holding their news conference right now. We'll have much more live from Atlanta.
See you soon.
Some people are pretty sure they're going to buy a Toyota Corolla DX until they find out the Honda Civic LX sedan gives you power windows, power door locks, power mirrors, cruise control, a tachometer, and a 4-speaker stereo cassette, all standard. And the Civic saves you $1,700 over a comparably equipped Corolla. Then they tend to reverse their position. Opt for the Civic from Honda.
You had fun?
Me too. I hope Dad doesn't ruin it.
Think your dad forgot?
No, he's probably just running late. I hope he hasn't started drinking again.
We could call him.
No. Let's just give him a few more minutes.
He promised he'd be different when he got back.
That him?
Please be him.
Yeah, that's him.
If you have a drug or alcohol problem, don't let it hurt the ones you love most. Call 1-800-CHARTER.
I hope you won't worry.
No, I need to be here.
Start bypass. Not even heart patients seem to worry about high cholesterol.
Got a bleeder here.
Hey, why worry about clogged arteries? Can't see them, you can't feel them. I should have my job. There it is. It's one of the biggest killers in America. Thing is, it doesn't have to be this way. If people would just work with their doctors, they could control their high cholesterol. Even stop the buildup of plaque in their arteries. It's the buildup that puts people at risk of heart attack. Heart attacks hurt everybody. He's okay for now.
High cholesterol is serious, especially if you have heart disease or 2 or more of these risk factors. Call 1-800-710-1111. We'll send you free materials about high cholesterol. And if you qualify and your doctor agrees, you can enroll in a program to help you lower your high cholesterol.
If people would just work with their doctors.
Make that call today. This message is sponsored by Merck in cooperation with the American Heart Association.
Dallas police are looking for help in solving a vicious crime.
An elderly couple found stabbed and beaten to death in their home. Bud Gillette tells us investigators aren't sure when they were killed or why.
Police and neighbors say it's the kind of fate no elderly person should suffer, to give a lifetime to a neighborhood but die horribly in their home. But it happened to Matthew and Thelma Gardner. When the Gardners didn't show up for church yesterday, a couple of deacons came out this morning to check on them. They found the door unlocked and knew immediately something was very, very wrong. Investigators believe the Gardners were stabbed and beaten to death late Friday or Saturday. Their son and his wife struggle to understand why.
For someone to come in and do what they done, I still believe that it was drug related. Somebody that knew him was hooked on drugs, and they let him in, and they took advantage of him.
Gardner tells me his father owned real estate, made charitable donations, and was known to have money. But police say they have no suspect information.
We don't know really who we're looking for. We're not even sure of a motive.
The neighborhood is reportedly closely knit. Some residents attend the Gardners' church.
They were wonderful people. They were inspiration to everybody in the neighborhood. They were inspiration to everybody that knew them. And it's so senseless for them to lose their lives like this.
And on a street named Goodwill. Bud Gillette, News 4, Texas.
Anyone with information about the murders is asked to call the Dallas Police Homicide Division.
Christopher Broski's attorneys are asking a federal judge to overturn his latest conviction and grant the skinhead a new trial. They argued in court today that there was insufficient evidence to find Broski guilty in the hate crime murder of an Arlington man. Also, that the organized crime statute Broski was tried under is unconstitutional.
But it was a battle to commute today. Mike Berger's up next with a look at whether the fog is still in our forecast.
It was about 4 this morning before I actually figured out what was going on, so it was a little rough.
And we'll hear more about Troy Aikman's rough night and about his concussion a little later in sports. Don't go away.
Where in the world would you go if there were no Las Vegas? For lunch, you'd have to fly to Europe. For dinner, all the way back to Los Angeles. And there's nowhere you can enjoy all this in one amazing place. Only in Las Vegas.
They come every year before the big game.
The Clump Brothers.
Clump Brothers.
Super Bucket. 15 pieces of original recipe or extra tasty crispy?
Original recipe! But they can never choose between original recipe with 11 herbs and spices or extra tasty crispy marinated and extra crunchy.
Get both. Both? And 15-piece Super Buckets are just $9.99 each. We do chicken right.
After you.
After you.
After you.
After you.
Coming up on the Showtime magazine named one of the year's best. The Michael Jackson investigation. Has the singer bought his way out of a courtroom showdown? Hard Copy's Diane Diamond reports on the secret behind-the-scenes moves in the Jackson case. Michael's maneuvers. Plus, it's the Big 4-0 for Oprah Winfrey, and we've planned one heck of a special celebration. Happy birthday, Oprah, on the next Hard Copy.
Coming up next on Channel 4.
Well, it may be cold, wet, and miserable outside, but I tell you what, the Cowboys' victory is brightening everyone's day.
Well, it's true, and it's really not that cold. I mean, 64 degrees out there. The problem is going to be the fog, however. It's going to be dense again tonight, and there are flight delays at DFW, so if someone's coming in or going out, you might want to check with your airline. Let's take a look at it. We had a high today of 63, and that, as I said, has just gone up. 52 is the low. 82 and 9 are the record temperatures. 1/1800ths of an inch of precipitation, so not much, just a little light rain. Here it is, 64 at Dallas, 94% relative humidity, fog in the area, south at 12, and even 30 inches of mercury. Drive carefully out there tonight. 64 in Fort Worth, 90% south at 11, 29.99, and the pressure is falling. How about Atlanta tonight? Partly cloudy, 44 to 47 for a low, west-northwest winds at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. All right, let's take a look at some temperatures around here. Almost spring-like, 72 degrees down in Victoria. We're looking at 63 degrees in Waco, 65 Wichita Falls, 57 degrees all the way up in Oklahoma City. This warm air is just pumping right up across the state, bringing the moisture with it, and of course, the fog is coming along as well, and it stretches all the way into the Midwest. Now, as far as the showers are concerned, on our radar loop from 9 o'clock this morning to the current hour, there's just very spotty light showers around, and the air is so saturated that any little thing can trigger some of those scattered showers. Couple of things to be aware of in the United States as we take a look at the satellite loop. First of all, California, hate to say this, but a flash flood watch out for parts of L.A. County tonight. They could get as much as an inch of rain, just what they don't need. Meantime, as this whole storm system moves to the east, it's pumping moisture up into the Midwest, so dense fog through Iowa, back through Illinois, on into Indiana, as well as Ohio. It's spotty in places, but nonetheless pretty heavy fog. Also some being reported in Kansas this afternoon. So a southern branch of the jet stream is coming in. We're going to watch that next storm system head our way out of California. And once this one moves out of the way and then that one moves out of the way, the cold air returns just in time for the Super Bowl. So here's the way it looks for the next 36 hours. Foggy, some drizzly light rain for the most part. Don't see anything real heavy for us. It'll be around again tomorrow. And by tomorrow evening, some more scattered showers as this cold front races in from California. And then as that moves out of the way, the cool air arrives. So here's a look at the 5-day forecast. 68 tomorrow. We'll look for some showers. Partly sunny Wednesday and Thursday. Showers return Friday and Saturday. And temperatures start to fall for us. And here's the 5-day outlook for Atlanta. If you're headed that way, temperatures are a little more agreeable. Some showers on Thursday and Friday.
If you're lucky enough to be headed that way.
Well, that's true. You've got a couple of spare tickets?
Well, watch it on TV. Best seat now.
Thanks, Mike. Coming up, we'll go back to Atlanta, where the Cowboys arrived about 20 minutes ago.
And we'll hear from Troy Aikman about his headache the day after he suffered the concussion. Sports is next.
If you could live inside an alcoholic, you'd understand the depth of his dependence.
Hey, bartender, one more drink.
The isolation.
I don't need your help.
The lack of control.
I can quit anytime.
And you would know that inside...
Don't worry, I'll cut down.
He's desperately crying for help.
Call Charter Hospital at 1-800-CHARTER. If you don't get help at Charter, please get help somewhere.
Think you can't afford a new Jeep Cherokee? Think again, because this week they're not $24,000, not even $19,000, but just $14,664. With power steering, power brakes, an AM/FM stereo, center console, reclining bucket cloth seats, and air at no extra charge. So think of the fun, think of the savings, but think fast, because it's only for a limited time. See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer.
For years now, Tom Thumb has been the top supermarket in your neighborhood. That's because we overlook absolutely nothing.
We do 1,000 little things better every day.
We didn't get to be first by being second best. That's all there is to it.
My dad always says it's slippery at the top. So to make sure we never fall from your favor, we're going to keep doing what we've always done. Give the highest level of service in town.
It really is the little things that count.
Ride with the boys. Well, the boys are back in Dallas, riding on Channel 4. They rode to Pasadena, now they're back to ride some more. That's right. Look out, the boys are ready, let the rodeo begin. Jimmy and Jerry taking the boys to the bowl again. Yeah, the boys are back, they're ready to rock and roll. You got to ride with the boys on Channel 4. How about them bad boys, the Dallas Cowboys? That's right.
Secret maneuvers in the Michael Jackson case, Bert and Lonnie's big settlement, plus Oprah's birthday surprise on Hard Copy next.
Now the boys and the coaches are settling into the routine, which includes news conferences. Let's go back to Clarice and Dale in Atlanta. Coach has already got one underway, right?
Hey, John, we're back live, and let's join Coach Jimmy Johnson, who is talking to the media. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Yeah, he doesn't take any contact anyway. Well, there's no question that all of our offensive players feed off of each other. I think not only Alvin, with Michael, but also Alvin and Michael to Emmett, and Emmett to Michael and Alvin, and all of them to Troy. So when you have the balance that we have offensively, I think it really helps each individual player.
All right, we are back live in the lobby of the Cowboys Hotel here in Atlanta. We've got Norv Turner with us, and we'll talk with Norv in just a second. But first, we want to let you know that the Cowboys have arrived here in Atlanta. They arrived in town about 5:30 local time, and it's pretty exciting to see the guys back here for a second Super Bowl. Of course, everyone wanted to know about Troy Aikman's condition. Well, it looks like Troy's going to be just fine, and here's what he had to say.
Yesterday, it was about 4 this morning before I actually figured out what was going on, so it was a little rough.
Do you still have a headache today, or?
No, the headache's pretty much gone. Neck's pretty sore, and right now I'm just real tired. I didn't sleep at all last night, so I'm a little run down.
Talked to Troy today?
Yeah, and he even remembers who I am, so I think he's in a better state of mind.
Does he know where the bowl is?
I think he's just following the line right now.
Well, it looks like Troy Aikman is going to be just fine.